What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, as always, Grant. Joined with
Josh.
There we go. Thank you. Thanks for that. And today we are reviewing an anime that is a Netflix exclusive. Another one. That's gonna be. I don't know how many anime exclusives we've done.
4?
Yeah, probably.
Number 4.
Yeah. All right. So this is an anime exclusive. Today we're talking about Japan Sings 2020. This is made by a studio called Science Saru. This is based on the original novel of Japan Sings back in the 1969. Critically acclaimed book, had a sequel, don't care about it. Might have a third sequel, still won't care about it. It was praised by many people, millions of people in the Japanese audience. Hailed this as a perfect novel, and then it was released down in the United States back in the early 2000s. It also got critical praise by the New York Times and other, who gives a shit. Anyways, we're looking at the anime that came out in 2020. Ironically, it's supposed to take place after the Tokyo Olympics of 2020, which never happened.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to. And so let's get on with the summary, shall we? Shortly after the Tokyo Olympics, okay, in 2020, a major earthquake hits Japan. You could say that again.
Yeah.
Amidst the chaos, siblings Aimu and Go, the Mato household, begin to escape the city with their family of 4. The sinking Japanese archipelagos, however, relentlessly pursue the family, like a Jason Voorhees, some would say.
Oh, yeah.
Plunge into extreme conditions, life and death, and the choice of meeting and parting in the face of dreadful reality. The Muto siblings believe in the future and acquire the strength to survive with the utmost effort. Starring Udorena, Sasaki Yuko. I don't care to mention anymore. Let's just get on with this. All right. No disrespect to the cast. I'll put them on screen. I just don't feel like reading all of it right now.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of people in this show. So, as always, we're going to start with the story and the characters. Josh, please just give me your thoughts. What did you think?
Of the whole thing, or just
the story and the characters?
Okay, well, the story was good. I'll give it that. It was good. Very unexpected. I did not expect this kind of story at all, to be honest. I thought it was another terrible anime that this guy was trying to show me again. But
oh yeah, sent you a terrible anime. No. This was a good. This was a. I don't want to say it's spoil, but it's like this was a well-produced one.
Yeah, it was well produced and it was very good. I think it was good. The story was very good, but the characters were very, very interesting as is. What's it called? The names. One was Go, and the other one was Kite. And
one of them was Kite.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
The guy with the what's it called? Balloon. He was always in the air.
Oh, the YouTuber.
Yeah, the YouTuber, yeah. But he was called Kite.
Yeah. I gotta admit, these characters their names were pretty forgettable. I had to look up their names a few times.
Yeah.
Other than Go, which is a very simplistic name.
He was like, go.
Go. So it's like you hear Go a lot throughout the entire anime. This kid is in constant distraught and in trouble. All right, yeah. So I watched this on a whim because I recognized the name from the novel Japan Sings. I've never read it because I'm not into disaster porn, which this is pretty much what it is. I mean, this actually reminded me a lot of those old disaster movies you'd have back in the 1990s and then the 2000s. Although where those were just completely idiotic and stupid, Japan Sinks is actually kind of based on I mean, the Japanese archipelago, which is pretty fucking hellish.
Yeah.
So the scariest thing in the anime for me was that I mean, what every person living in Japan will know about, which is just the ring that comes on your phone when there's an earthquake. Just ring, ring, ring. Happens all the fucking time. But yeah, so this is about, how big was the earthquake? I don't remember.
It was like a 7 point, I believe.
Yeah, so a 7 point something earthquake. I just devastates the Japanese archipelago, sinks Okinawa.
Yeah.
Just completely, just off the bat, and starts sinking. That's the whole idea in this. I believe it's the Philippines, Indonesia.
No, the Philippines were fine. It was just the whole Philippines were fine. I know that. That's what they said.
Oh, okay. The Philippines
were fine, and then there was one what's it called, city that would also be like that could survive that kind of earthquake in Japan. I forgot the name, but they were trying to go to it, but they couldn't because all of the ships were destroyed during the earthquakes, and then when they were trying to evacuate, that they got destroyed, and they were trying to head there, but it was too late for them to even go.
Right.
Due to the fact that Mount Fiji was it Fuji?
Fuji.
Mount
Fiji.
Mount Fujimama is about to erupt. That's the main cause. That was the biggest worry about that whole thing, that whole series.
Yeah.
Was that mountain?
Yeah, that was the
and then,
overshadow.
Yeah, and then the YouTube.
Yeah, I keep fucking up.
But what's it called? The YouTuber was actually watching it before he started following the group.
Right.
Which was very good. But it was also bad for following the group because he could have warned everyone, but he couldn't at the same time because the cell phone towers were down.
Right.
There was no way of communicating, but it was well thought out though. I'll give it that. It was very.
It was smartly done.
Yeah.
I will say that because most disaster movies, I don't know if you watched 2012 for instance.
No, I yeah.
Okay, so you have watched it.
I was thinking I was like, this is 2012. It's just watching everything get fucking ran over.
Whereas 2012 is just kind of stupid and makes no sense. This one, at the very least, it's believable and just what would happen in real life. Now, granted, the Japanese archipelago just sinking would never happen, and the idea of all these cities just sinking would never happen. For the most part, cities in Japan, I've seen it myself. They are capable of not sinking unless you go to towns that just get obliterated. Yeah. The Miyagi Prefecture, which I'm sure stories like that where it's a town was completely washed away by a tsunami. Stories like that is kind of what inspires the novel and the events that transpired, and of course the earthquakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that stuff, it's it does come from a place of knowledge where it's people experience that. The author obviously experienced that, so it's just a step further. What would happen if just the entire archipelago just started sinking, and this is what would go on.
Yeah.
And it was very realistic in that sense. You have the Japanese government just fucking scrambling. They're just what do we do?
Yeah.
The American government's trying to help because that's the biggest ally to Japan.
What was it? America, the UK, and then Russia too. I believe.
Russia. All these countries start helping.
Yeah,
I don't remember if China was China a part of it.
I don't think China was a part of it.
Of course they wouldn't.
I don't think it was. I think I didn't see their name pop up. But those three were trying to figure out a plan, but the Japanese government was just scrambling in general, not listening. Apparently, that as on the news, they said they wanted to do their own plan, but they were having people that were actually offering to help. But which is very Japanese. That is a very Japanese kind of government thing to do, where it's okay, here's all these solutions, but we're gonna do it ourselves. Yeah, they made Japan people hella fucked up because they were we only want Japan people here and no foreigners.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they made it
with Gramps especially.
Gramps, and then when they were trying to get on one of the lifeboats.
Yeah.
And they were you're foreigners, we don't want you here. Pure Japanese.
Yeah,
that's fucked up. They made it seem like it was they were assholes.
I mean, here's the thing about that. You will definitely find racism in the countryside of Japan.
Oh, I think it'll be funny.
yeah, but for the most part, yeah. I don't know if that would happen, but there racism does exist in the inner parts of Japan. But it was just when Gramps was just just another fun.
Yeah,
it was just
pissed off for no reason. Oh, give me a break.
Yeah, it's it's one of those where it's he's old. Don't worry about it. Just leave him alone. That kind of stuff. But yeah. So the story was very interesting. Basically, it was a rush to get to the west, side of Japan. Tokyo was fucked, as you can see. In the beginning, that was pretty shocking. I wanted to say that because when I watched the first episode, I didn't expect it to be a drama because it seemed action-y in the trailers.
Yeah.
Which, granted, I don't expect. I guess I kind of expected more of a lighthearted kind of comedy. Mm-hmm. But then seeing in the beginning, I was oh fuck, okay.
Immediately, I was dark. This is intense. This is very. Very fucking intense.
This is intense, yeah. This is dramatic.
to be honest, not gonna lie, I thought it was a zombie movie because I saw things fly, like from the what's it called? People were coming from the sky.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. There was like people hanging from the helicopter, and did you see that? Remember the helicopter?
Yeah.
People, I thought it was a zombie movie. I was like, oh shit, it's gonna be good. And then it was just like dead people. I was like, well, how's the helicopter going down?
Yeah.
And how is there like people hanging from it and actually putting weight on this?
Yeah, I was wondering what that was too. Like, I was like, maybe there's like something else in it, but no, it's just a natural phenomenon. So it's just like, maybe it was just like the weight, too many people on it was making it go down. I mean, I don't know.
I guess, but like, then again, like, I wouldn't think that. But it didn't seem like a lot of people fell. Like,
well, all right. I don't know. Like I just remember people falling, and I was wondering where is that from. And I guess it was from the helicopter.
Yeah, I thought it was like a World War Z.
Oh yeah, World War Z.
Yeah, I was just like, what the hell is this? I was like, oh, so it's an anime version of like World War Z or
well,
something.
okay. Well, speaking of World War Z, this show focuses on a family, just like World War Z, except World War Z was shit. So the characters in this show go as follows. I knew go. I don't Daniel, Gramps.
Well, yeah, but that's later on, but not in the beginning.
In the beginning, okay.
There's dad, mom, daughter, son, and then like their like friend.
Yeah,
that's all I got out of it.
Yeah, they're not the most memorable characters. Yeah, I will admit though, the father, I really liked him.
I felt so bad what happened to him though.
Light spoilers, by the way, guys. We will talk about the first few episodes. No. We won't spoil
full spoilers. This is happening. This is happening now.
Light spoilers.
We are spoiling the shit out of
this. Okay, so the father dies. The father dies.
Yeah, you know what? For finding yams. That's why.
For finding yams.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. He was trying to find yams for his daughter, who is a vegetarian, and then they stumbled on a landmine field, right? And they were buried underground, and he accidentally shovels it, and all he says was "uh-oh," and that's it.
Yeah, like I don't remember exactly what he said, but yeah.
Well,
like,
basically, it was like
it was pretty much like "uh-oh"
or "oh shit."
Yeah, so I mean, just that reaction of just like "oh fuck," like pretty much, and then he dies, and
I was like devastated. I was like, and then the music was not following.
Well, it kind of jumps like thematically, like because at one point in the beginning it's tragic. It's like, whoa, like you're shocked. And then it kind of becomes lighthearted when the family gets together. It's like, let's take a picture, we're going on an adventure. It still kind of retains a little bit of darkness, but then it kind of gets more lighthearted. Then the father dies, and then it's back to dark. But then the next episode, it's kind of a little bit more lighthearted, except for Ainu, who's kind of, she's like, my dad's dead and you don't give a shit. It's like, we just got to keep going, girl. Then the YouTuber, and then it kind of gets horror. Like, it gets creepy at one point when they get to like
the weed camp.
The weed camp, yeah. I've never heard of a weed camp in Japan. Well, I'm sure it exists.
It looked like it was a religion.
Yeah, I thought it was a cult, like a religious cult at first, which I guess it kind of was.
Well, it was, because they said it was like a group of people just joining in and listening to Mother.
Who's connected to like the
Living Dead. Which she was, though, which was shocking. I thought it was like a fake thing, but apparently she was like speaking word for word, and it felt like that person that died was actually talking to him.
Yeah. So I mean, they weren't like lunatics, clearly.
Yeah, they weren't lunatics, and
they really weren't that bad people.
They were kind of peaceful.
Yes, and I because the natural reaction or the natural thing that I expected would be, like you find like a perfect kind of encampment, and then it turns out to be really shitty in a cult, and they're like trying to abuse you in some way. Like typical like end of the world kind of stuff. But here it was like, no, they were genuine, and it's like, oh. Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, like it was kind of funny though. They kept eating after they said, "What's in here? Weed."
Just weed. It was very, very casual.
I know
just weed.
Oh yeah, should we talk about their broken English? Their English going on?
Oh yeah, yeah. Listen, I just want to clarify right now. I am okay 100% listening to broken English.
Yeah, so am I, but it's like sometimes it didn't match.
But the problem I have with anime in particular is that when they try to, and it's everything really. It could be in Hollywood movies. I've seen it. is like when they try to speak another language, and it's like oh, they're supposed to be fluent, and it's very obvious that they're not.
Yeah.
It's very, very awkward. Daniel was the only character that I thought kind of worked at times, where it's like, okay, his English was pretty good. I mean, okay, no, let's just get their English was good. I could understand them. I just want to say that their English was good, but it's the portrayal of that they're native speakers.
Yeah.
That's the where it's kind of distracting, and I prefer like an anime that they don't say that, or they find native English speakers to say the lines instead. But it was pretty funny at times.
It was funny, and it was also like frequent.
Every episode.
Yeah, every episode within like every, I would want to say like 5 or 6 minutes. Though not 5 or 6, what, 10 minutes maybe? Like 2.
It was every episode because
pretty much, yeah.
Go just he's I don't know what he is. I forget.
He's Filipino.
He's Filipino.
Japanese.
Filipino and Japanese, like, and he's fluent in English supposedly, and he says English phrases every now and again. The best part is like a common thing in Japanese writing in particular is that they don't hire people who speak native English, so they'll get kind of broken English things all the time, really. So it's always entertaining to hear, because at one point he says like what weird, like not what he tries to, like, in English if like something startling happens, like obviously we say like what, but like here is like it was just like, oh, what happened there? And it was just like I kind of like, oh, okay, that sounds a little bit weird, but it's fine. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at all. It's just like very freaking. I thought it'd be like very spread out, but no, it was like in every single episode. And
but overall, the characters, I was invested in seeing if they were gonna make it. For the most part, the dad was my favorite character. I think that was the biggest blow for me.
Yeah,
because he was like the charismatic one, and then after that, there was no charismatic character, and I didn't really like Daniel that much. So it was just kind of watching a bunch of miserable people go around, which I guess is realistic. So fair enough.
Kite guy was kind of a dick throughout the what's it called? The first time you meet him, and then the end, he was kind of a dick.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, what can you expect? I mean, overall, what would you say the story, like, if you had to, this is season 1, yeah, so, what would you say about season 1, summarize the story, your thoughts?
It was good. it was good. No, it was very good. Like I said, very unexpected. Didn't like the music. For instance, is that when someone died, the music sounded joyful for some reason to me. Like, it'll play like a joyful tune or some shit, or like a peaceful, calming tune. I don't know why. Every time after someone dies, and when someone does die, it's very sad because those characters are supposed to be remembered, and you feel for them. And then once they
relate to them, and then
and then once they die, you're like, oh shit, they actually. It's like, why them? Like, why did they die? And it's just like, it was good though. It got like. Some animes don't even do that, where you get to lean in your chair and just like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Not a lot of animes have that nowadays.
Yeah, a lot more anime nowadays.
It's all action.
You kind of know what's gonna happen the majority of the time, especially when it's based off of manga, and it's just like, you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I would say I liked the story. I was very much invested. Had to take a few breaks after a few episodes, but I was invested. I did genuinely care for the characters, and I was shocked every time one would die, because it was very unexpected. There was never foreshadowing. It was just like, it would just happen out of nowhere. I'm not gonna say who, but one character near like the 3rd or 4th episode just kind of dies from a poisonous gas, and I was like, whoa, what happened here?
I know.
I was like, is that person dead? And it's like, oh shit, okay. And so yeah, it was very surprising. I also did like like I said, I'm not a disaster kind of porn type of guy. Where I don't really like disaster movies. Here, I tolerated it because I thought the storytelling was good, and I thought the characters were cool. I do like the idea of Mount Fuji being just like this unbelievable monster that needs to be stopped.
Yeah, that was like the big cap to the movie. It was just
the show.
Sorry, the show Mount Fuji. I thought it was a movie. It felt like it, but Mount Fuji was like the biggest thing too.
Yeah, it was just the impending threat.
Yeah.
Mount Fuji's a nice place, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet, but it was just like
long hike.
I bet. But I was like, it was just crazy because like everyone's pinpoint was there. That's it. Nowhere else. Just watching that.
Yeah.
And then once they saw smoke, that's it. Everyone started panicking.
Right.
They're like, we gotta go, leave, and all that stuff. And it was definitely crazy, like because you could feel the tension, especially when this is a light sport when they got to the little what's checkpoint.
Right. Yeah.
And you could feel the tension, like, come on, hurry up, get in there, you know.
Yeah. I was wondering a little bit about like the politics behind it all, because like, you know, with Japan being like the third largest economy on the planet.
Yeah.
And realistically second, but who gives a shit? With it being like such a big powerhouse, I was thinking like, you know, what would happen if it was just to disappear, like sink? Like how would they repair that? I'm sure probably the book goes into it more like oh, after Japan just sank, it's just like the world was just like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do?
I mean, apparently at the end, it's just it was all gonna rise back up. And I was like, what was it like?
Yeah,
just flipped over and decided to flip back. And just like.
Well, I mean, all the shit's gone. So.
Well, yeah, all the shit's gone and stuff, but like it was gonna grow back, and as she said, it was gonna grow back. Like parts are already growing back at her time, and then it was like 5, 10, 15, and then 100 years. And I was like, okay,
cool.
I was like, that's cool.
Cool.
But I did feel for the girl though, who was stupid enough not to ask for help for her infected wound.
Oh,
the track runner, yeah. Whole leg.
Aimu.
Yeah, that broke my heart though. The fact that he said we got the leg gone. I was like, oh man. I was like, nothing's right for her. Everyone she loved died, and now her leg. Never could do track and field again.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much the show. Going into presentation, I think you had a lot to say about the presentation. The animation, what did you think of it?
I mean, it was the animation. It looked pretty at first, right? I thought it was like watercolor style, you know, what I'm talking about, like watercolor painting. But when they come to the mouth movie, it didn't match up, and it kind of looked like buggy and ugly, you know, like kind of like mush.
Okay.
And like, but I understand what they're trying to go for, you know. It's like kind of like a watercolor style, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I thought the animation at times could look amazing.
Yeah, no, that's
at times it looked great. Other times not so much. I'm not a big fan of the character style. Like,
that's
in
what I
that
mean.
type
They
of
look
anime.
ugly.
Yeah, they go for a little bit not exaggerated, but yeah, like a more exaggerated. Whereas anime seems to have like kind of a set style.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. But overall, I think it looked good, except for some CGI points that were very noticeable.
Oh yeah.
I don't really have too much to say about the animation other than it was really good at points. Other times, not so much. When it had a wide Tokyo, for instance, it looked great. Wide angle shots of like landscape in Japan and like the landslides that were just taking off, like the cities and stuff. I thought that was cool, or looked good. I think they did a really good job, like kind of representing like the destruction, the force of the Japanese archipelago because like that is real stuff that happens, you know. Cities, there are towns, I won't say cities, towns that do get just washed away, you know, like every couple of decades. There are like landslides, so it's like that shit does happen, and this show just kind of like does a good job representing that. Like I said, the fucking ringtone that you get like when an earthquake is impending, I've never heard that in a TV show or in an anime. This was the first time I ever heard it, so I was like, oh okay. They did a good job
with that, because like sometimes they don't put that much detail. Some animes, or even what's it called, those the 2012 movies, they didn't even put that on the thing where it's like storm or shit like that.
Yeah, they don't pay attention to the detail. They just like, destruction's coming.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they did a great job with the details of
sound design was really good, by the way.
Yeah, sound design was good, but also the details you don't notice is like very nice, because it's like they're going for, this is like, what if this was real life, period.
Yeah,
what would we do? They went to very like the little subtle details you don't notice makes a big impact in that anime, and it It was just great as is.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned the music a little bit earlier. I would also mirror the same. I didn't like the music.
I know it's just death and then hey.
Yeah, it was weirdly joyful at times.
Joyful and then like some were calm.
Yeah, and kind of sinister.
Well, yeah, some of them were sinister, but there was some
that was mainly the cult stuff.
I think the cult stuff was sinister, but the one that with the dad died, that was joyful.
That was it was like joyful.
And then the track runner, the boy with the glasses, I forgot his name. He was like the biggest track star.
Yeah.
And the girl had was like praising him because he was like the fastest runner.
Right.
And then when he got slammed by the wave, it was joyful again for some reason. I just didn't get that. I was just like, why?
I don't know.
I was like, it was just like, does not make sense. I was like, am I supposed to be happy that he died or something?
I think it's supposed to be like kind of maybe a contrast, but I'm not a fan of that. I don't think it works when they do like, a contrast like that.
It probably works in some, but definitely didn't work in this kind of style.
No. Absolutely not.
It definitely did not work. But everything else besides the character's face look and then the music, and what was the other thing we had a problem with?
The music, the character designs, I was not a big fan of. Getting into our final thoughts. Yeah, so the things we didn't like, music didn't work.
I thought it was sometimes it'll be like, oh shit.
Music didn't work. Character models, they're fine, but
like when
not
they're
what
standing,
I like.
When they're like standing still and they're like kind of like when
when they're not moving, they look okay.
Well, when they're moving, sometimes it looks good. It looks decent, you know. It looks like
it
looks like old school. But when they get zoom into the face and they're freaking out and they have to move quickly, it looks But the running, when they run, that looks good.
Yeah, okay. Animation. I mean, the animation in general, we have to praise this because I hope Netflix does more like just 2D animated, like hand drawn rather than CGI. So like I will say the animation was good. Majority of the time. Sometimes it was not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just kind of felt, but a majority of the time it looked great. Like I said, the opening episodes in Tokyo were fantastic. Looks just like Tokyo.
Yeah.
If it was destroyed, if I just walk out one day, it's like, oh, okay, everyth's gone.
Yeah.
So it did look good. Overall, I thought the story was intriguing. I liked most of the characters, not all. And I was invested, and I thought the real world aspect, all the interesting details was interesting. So if I had to rate it, I would give the show my personal rating of an 8 out of 10. I liked it. So it's a little bit depressing, but I liked it. I think it's good. What would you rate it?
Man, I'm one up you. I'm going 9 because
9, okay.
Because I love the story as is. The story was good. It was just something that, you know, it hits me like not a lot of movies or anime makes me want to lean in my chair or like get hyped or like anxious like what's going to happen. Not a lot of things happen with that. Does like nothing really phases me like that with movies and anime. This one really got to me. This one actually showed, like, I felt the tension for the characters, and I thought it was like outstanding. The story, like I said, the subtle details that you know you don't notice, but it's like there that makes a completely different story, and just the unexpected events that happen with each individual character.
Yeah, the unpredictability.
Yeah, like good. You can't predict anything. Like you think, oh, he's dead. No, he's not dead. Oh, no, wait, and you just don't know.
I just mentioned earlier, just like you like the cult to be this, and it's like, oh, they're not.
Yeah, okay, I know. I thought I was like, oh man, they're gonna. I thought they're cannibals, to be honest, because
you're right.
3 people and they look all like pale and shit. So I was like, oh man, they're gonna die right here. And then I was like, oh shit.
All right,
I need to be there.
So I gave it 8. You give it a 9.
Yes.
All right. Do you recommend? I assume you do.
Oh, of course I do.
All right, 100%. You recommend.
For people that, well, 1 for people that like anime, 2 for someone that I wouldn't say this would be a good starting anime.
Oh no, probably not.
Definitely not. But like for someone who's watched a little bit of anime, this could be a good one for them to get them pushed more into it.
Yeah, get like a different feel.
Yeah. This is like one of the better animes that are kind of out right now because like you just don't know. That's the thing, and it's just makes me feel a lot better with the way anime is going right now.
Right.
That's a good step forward
All
into
right.
something that's different now.
All right, I would agree. I also recommend this. Obviously, if you have Netflix, let's just watch it.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good show. Very impactful. Very emotional at times.
Oh yeah, very.
It's well animated. Good stuff to be had. I of course 100% would have recommended it. Just not if you're not in a good mood. You need to be in a mood to watch this. I'll say that. I recommend it when you're in the mood to watch something sad.
Yeah.
If you're not in the mood to watch something sad, don't watch it because it'll just make you sad.
It'll make
So,
you like worse mood.
yeah. So those are our final thoughts. What do you guys think? Did you watch this anime? Did you love it, hate it? Don't care about it. You're even mad at us for even talking about it. Let me know down in the comments down below. I never read your comments, but I like to see them. Anyways, I'm your host, Grant, for One Fair Review. Josh, thank you for joining me.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
And next time on One Fair Review, I'll see you guys next time. And as always, have a nice day.